Alrighty, welcome back to the Myth Monstrology playthrough. I believe this is episode 8 now, because the last one was split up into a couple parts, a couple different recordings, and went over time with one of them, so I just decided to end it there and call that number 7. So, or split it up, call it number 7. So, ended up only needed like 2 pet games to get this to adult. Obviously, not the best stats. Myth Assistant, it just kind of is the first stat you're going to get with these new will cast pets. And then, something that I found, I was looking through, I actually looked up the talents for Myth Dealer and Energizing Battery on the hatching kiosk. And was able to find a Gulcher for 21,000, which is actually pretty good as far as cost goes. Now, ultimately, not the best stats. This isn't going to be my forever pet, but if I can get Energizing Battery early on with some Myth talents, that's going to be good. Plus, if I actually get the Gulcher pet, I'm going to have a Blade and whatever other cards that it gives. So, yeah, just going to start this one off. Going for it. Mysterious Egg. What do we got? Alright, let's go. 29 minutes, we're going to get this guy, so ultimately going to retire this pet after this one. Got a Blade, which is cool. Relatively lucky, I feel. Oftentimes it's like a 50-50 chance, but, you know, gotta take the luck when it comes. And also, forgot to get rid of that. I can hide it, but it's still actively in my quest book, and I hate it. Please, King Zaldevs, come up with a better quest system. But yeah, so now we are going to record the first little bit of Monstrology.
Can I help you? Oh, yes, of course. You're the one I was told about. I'm Principal Monstrologist, Gilda Burke. Thanks for coming.
Gilda Burke.
Headmaster Ambrose is allowing me to recruit talented and studious young wizards for an exciting new elective program, Monstrology. It's an ancient practice from my home world, Albion, and I've come to share Monstrology throughout the spiral. So let's get started. The motto of Monstrology is, know thine enemy. You'll learn to profile your enemy, extract their strengths, and use them to your benefit.
Yeah, it almost sounds like what, I need to move my mic closer to me. It almost sounds like what happens to the TSA is they profile potential enemies and extract any bit of confidence from their victims and use it against them.
We use special monstrological extract spells to enchant damage spells, which can then capture an enemy's very essence, or animus.
So for anybody who didn't understand that, Monstrology relies on getting these enchant cards for extract undead, or extract, Mander, extract Cyclops, extract whatever classification of monster, and then you capture an enemy's very soul, or part of their soul, technically, because you need about 10 animus to craft a summon minion treasure card. You need 15 animus to create a dispel enemy treasure card, which can only be used on non-boss enemies, so regular mobs, not bosses. And then you have the option to then create housing guests for 20 to 30 animus, depending on, whether it's a regular mob or enemy, or boss. A boss will obviously have a higher price tag. There's some bosses in the game, like Exalted Malice, that require you to get 50 animus.
An enchanted spell that deals damage will result in extraction of 1 animus. Plus, an additional animus is extracted with a defeating hit.
Yep. So you get 1 animus per hit if you just manage to graze them but not kill the enemy. And then you get 2 if you kill the enemy with a animus enchanted spell.
Now pay attention here. because this is very important. To formally collect the animus you've extracted, you must win the duel.
Yep, you must win the duel. You cannot hit an enemy, flee, and then come back. Your animus progress will be lost.
Once you've successfully collected an enemy's animus, their profile is added to your monstrology tome, so you can reference them at any time.
Yeah, as you can see here, behind these little white boxes, you get a little bit of a cheeky little note about the enemy that you've just captured. You can see the number of animus that you have. I believe it goes up to 999. However, I'm not entirely certain on that. You can tell it also requires a bit of gold to create the treasure card. I'm not sure who that gold gets paid to, but it is just an extra little thing to make it a little bit more challenging, which isn't usually an issue. And then you can see on this side the number of animus this example has versus the number required to create a summon monster or summon boss treasure card.
There's much more to monstrology than that, of course, but I find 'tis easier to do than to listen. It's high time for some field work. Take this extract undead animus spell and use it to capture the animus of any undead enemy you'd like to profile. Well, almost any. Since you're new to monstrology, you'll want to tussle with a low-level enemy to maximize your chances of animus extraction. Start with the Lost Souls on Unicorn Way. Extract one Lost Soul animus, then return here, and we'll wrap up your introduction to monstrology.
Yeah, and that is the quest. We've been given a new spell, which is basically an enchant. This is pretty good. So what she was saying just a minute ago is that... Hold on, let me turn this down. What she was saying earlier is you can extract just about anyone, any undead with this spell. This one is specifically for the undead classification of monsters. However, there are some undead in the game that you cannot collect. Ones that are maybe quest specific and were never really intended to be fought more than once. Or, I know in Marley Bone, there's a quest that takes you past some undead enemies that basically you can't capture. Like, I sat there for hours. I had a monstrology level far higher than what I needed to, and I just wasn't able to collect any of the undead. It's just how it was. So yeah, let's see how this goes. I enchanted that spell, the troll. I'll be able to use it next round. Gonna put a trap on just because. And this just kind of fills up our deck and gives us a little bit, something a little bit different to go after, you know? Yep. Collected 2 Lost Soul Animus, 2 XP. So I'm going to collect a couple more of these and then turn in the quest. Alright, getting back to it, I went ahead and killed 2 more. And so for this Lost Soul, since it's like the very first enemy in the game, it only requires 6 Animus to create a Summon Monster treasure card. You can see, you click here, costs 500 gold, 6 Animus. I'm going to save that for a minute, just because I don't particularly have a use for it. These guys only have like 55 health. So yeah, gonna snag this Mistwood and get back to Monstrology. So great.
You wish to explore new worlds? Heed my words. All the worlds of the spiral are connected through world doors, which are unlocked by spiral keys.
Oh, okay.
The keys the headmaster gave you will allow you to travel to the desert world of Kropotopia and back here to Wizard City. Throughout your adventures, you will discover new keys and new worlds and wondrous things and terrible dangers. I chose you for a reason, and while my mind is fogged and my memories vague, I trust my past judgment. You are destined for great things. Yours will be an incredible journey, young wizard. Now it is time for you to take the first step.
Alright, grandfather tree. But in a minute. Yeah, I don't know how I skipped that dialogue multiple different times.
Were you able to extract an animus from an undead enemy? Aye? Crackin'! Now it's time I show you the myriad ways monstrologists use animus. The monstrology tome, notwithstanding, my personal favourite application of an animus is to create a summon monster treasure card. It's like an echo of the enemy you extracted it from, which can be summoned in combat, not unlike the way one summons a minion. You can also create an expel monster treasure card that's basically an instant-defeat, one-shot silver bullet against a particular monster. If you've the proper lodgings, animus can also be used to create house guests, as well as monster echoes that your friends can jewel. And don't worry if your house isn't equipped with a Joe sigil. That's what the Monster Dome is for!
The Monster Dome! Now,
if you've any questions, or simply feel the need for a refresher, consult the Monstromnibus here at any time.
This is the Monstromnibus.
And remember, as your monstrology level increases, so does the amount of monstrological spells you're privy to. So, keep an eye out for me in your journeys throughout the spiral. Until then, welcome to Monstrology. Go on then, get cracking!
Alright, so what does she sell? She sells seashells by the seashore. Every Monstrology card costs 100,000 gold. This is a bit of an expensive hobby, especially at low levels. And given the fact that I just hatched a pet, it's gonna take some time to build up some revenue. However, there is one thing I want to check out in Colossus Boulevard. Alright, so here in Colossus Boulevard, here is the Monstrology teacher. He teaches, like, what is it? Monstrology Animus for Gobblers. I wonder... Oh, that's great. That is exceptional. So this one is only 10,000 gold, which is super useful. However, I'm wondering whether or not it's going to be more beneficial to go to Crocotopia, because I do know that there is a Mander Animus right outside the Great Pyramid. So, I'm gonna go check, see what that is. If it costs 100,000, then I think I'm just gonna end the video, maybe type some loose ends in the video, and basically throw out a stream, see how that goes. I wonder if... I think I've got my setup to stream and record. But yeah, so let's dig into Crocotopia for the first second.
Another wizard? A servant of the one called Malice there, are you? No? Oh, then perhaps you can help us.
I remember at one point this guy said, "Hello, Effendi."
Malice there has been here many times, and each time he comes he raises more of the oppressive tots from their slumber, seeking their knowledge. They must be stopped, or they will enslave the Mander people again. If you would help us, talk to the Sergeant Major in the Oasis.
Right. Well, I'm gonna wait on that unless it pulls me into a dialogue. Hopefully it does not. Nope. And free cattail. A water lily. That'll come in handy later on. Alright, so here's this guy. Where is... Oh, yeah! It is right over here. Monstrology teacher, as well as a little sigil to make it up to that island right up there. Okay, so Manders are 100,000. Not the greatest, but it does give me an idea of where to go next. So basically what I'm going to end up doing is stream, basically in this, go on, put out a stream, make that my next video. It's mostly going to be constant battles, just farming for gear in Wizard City, getting some gold, maybe doing a bit of fishing. Nothing exceptional, you know. I'm not going to count it as an episode, more as just a farming episode that doesn't really pertain to the main story of this playthrough, but is a little side addition. Gives me a reason to collect some gold. I know I could just get another account, sell some treasure cards, but for anybody who's wanting to basically start a completely brand new account because they heard King's All got hacked and was laughed at a bunch of funny memes of inappropriate messages and wanted to relive those past glory days and happens to come across my channel, well, maybe I can give you an idea of how to monstrology. This is Godly Seafood signing off. Thank you for watching. And on the next one, we'll come back and visit a little bit more of Krokotopia.